Yeah, guys, before we switch over here to baseball, I want to remind everybody that March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the net. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. So go ahead and visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get in on all the college hoop action all tournament long.
All right, good job out of you there, Anthony. So the Guardians having a pretty bad trip to San Diego right now. They get shut out last night. They were never in the game. Mike, you stayed up and watched the whole thing.
I did, and
it was ugly. Logan Allen was pretty terrible in that game.
Yeah, we'll get to Logan Allen in a sec, but Michael King, we knew was a good pitcher.
Yeah, I told you I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, and you nailed it. And the Guardians they only had 2 hits in the entire game, and they weren't even putting bat on ball and making good contact. 11 strikeouts, 1 walk. He only threw 88 pitches in 5 innings with 11 strikeouts, which means the Guardians were swinging and missing way too early, and when they were making contact, it was light, easy contact to get out. From an offensive standpoint, it was pretty depressing watching the Guardians. And Bull, outside of the big 3 in the lineup, Quan, Jose, and Manzardo right now, who I'm putting in the big 3.
Well, he had an offer yesterday.
The rest of the guys throughout the early part of the season, it is 5 games. Like this is all incredibly early, no time to panic. But Nolan Jones has been an absolute non-factor. And Bo Naylor has not taken the step forward that we hoped he could take. And once again, 5 games, I know it's super early, but I'm just saying there's a lot of zeros in the lineup right now. And when we're looking big picture at this Guardians team, I'm not basing this off 1 game, I'm basing this off 5 games so far. They need a lot of guys to step up if they're going to compete in the AL Central. Like a lot of guys in that lineup because last night.
Dude, I watched that game last night. I watched last night's game until I went to bed and ended up turning on. Well, they were down like 5 runs, 6 runs, and I turned on the Nuggets game.
I'm just not scared of
the previous night I had watched both games. It's like I don't know. Do they stink?
No, they don't stink. They just
are they average?
The Padres are very good.
No, I think they're better.
The Padres are good. I mean,
listen. I'm always torn in these situations because the rational thing to say is. This is silly. This is 5 games, and in this case, it's 2 games because they played well in Kansas City. It's insane to react, let alone overreact. On the other hand, I like that people are interested in baseball, so I don't want to just poo-poo every game until the 40-game mark. But the reality is that 5 games in a baseball season is the equivalent to the first 20 minutes of the first football game of the year.
Yep.
And would you make sweeping judgments about a football team based on 5 minutes into the second quarter?
We certainly have before. It's stupid, but we have.
5 minutes into the second quarter? G. Bush would lose his mind.
G. Bush has said 13 tweets he already regrets by that point.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what the equivalent is to 5 games, right? 10 game every 10 games in baseball is like 1 game in the NFL, essentially. So we're not even halfway there. So they've played terrible baseball these last 2 days. There's no debating that. They haven't pitched well. They haven't hit well. They haven't done anything well in these 2 games. And in these 2 games, you've seen the things that when you look at this division, and right now through 5 games, everybody's under 500 in the division. At the beginning, there you go. So everybody's 2-3, and the Twins are 1-4. So when you look at the division, when we were making predictions in the beginning of the year, I was saying for months that it's hard to decide who the best team in this division because they're all flawed.
Yeah.
Right? And including the Guardians. And the flaws that we were worried about with the Guardians have reared their ugly head in these 2 games in San Diego. The back of the rotation.
Yep.
Because Allen and Ortiz were both terrible.
Allen was not good last night.
No, and I just don't think he's a very talented pitcher. And the bottom of the lineup. Which has been an issue through 5 games so far. I can't make sweeping judgments. I can't say Arias or Naylor or Rocky or any of these guys, they're not living up to their promise. It's way too quick to say that. I understand when a guy has a lot to prove, if he gets off to a bad start, it can be frustrating. Look at the Atlanta Braves. Have you seen what they're doing so far?
I have not.
So they lost to
They're
the Dodgers last night.
0-6. I think their top guy in batting average is hitting 175, and he just got suspended 80 games for PEDs.
Profar?
Yeah. One of their best pitchers, Ronaldo Lopez, has a shoulder injury, might miss the whole season. So these teams are in much worse shape. I'm not going to argue that they've played horrible these last 2 games. And I had some concerns about the back of the rotation because I didn't like the way Ortiz pitched in spring training. And I'm not a big Logan Allen fan. So it's going to be something to monitor going forward. Padres are a very good team with a lot of talent. They just signed another one of their young players this morning. I
saw that, Merrill.
Yeah. Jackson Merrill, he signed a 10-year extension. He's really young. He was a rookie last year. Had a great season. I think they signed him to like 10 years.
10 year, like 190.
Something.
No, that was 190 up to 204. I could have read that wrong.
That's still, I mean, for 10 years, that's still pretty.
That's what I thought I read.
Maybe. And they're a really good team. I think they're one of the best. I think they will be one of the best teams in the National League. And I said yesterday before the game, I love Michael King. I think he's one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. There's an actor that he looks like. I got to think of who it is.
Michael King.
Michael King. Show his picture again. There's an actor. He's like a second-level actor, third-level actor that he looks just like. I got to find the guy. I don't know how I'm going to find him.
What do you think of today's pitching matchup? Cease, Lively. Cease killed the Guardians last year when they played aggressive.
It's another bad pitching matchup for the Guardians. I mean, Lively did a nice job his first start. Dylan Cease is really good. He's going to be hard to hit, and that's a.
Was he with the White Sox for a while?
Yes.
Cease, yeah. He's been around for a little while.
We got the season stats.
Look at that Lively chain, by the way.
I can barely see it.
Oh yeah, that's.
What is with that?
It's.
Is Ben Lively good enough to wear a chain like that?
I don't think so.
I don't know that it fits him.
No.
I mean, I like to wear chains, but I'm not wearing that.
Where is Ben Lively from? Can we look that up?
you gonna judge his hometown?
I mean, he kind of looks like some of the kids I grew up with in Brooklyn. Like we'd be driving down 86th Street. Not that means anything to anybody here, but if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And
Ben Lively is
sporting
from
those chains. He's probably from some Hicktown. Is my guess.
Born in Pensacola. Yeah, Hicktown.
Yeah,
that's country.
Yeah.
In Florida, country.
It's weird. You don't think of like country.
Nah,
in Florida,
Panhandle though, dude.
No, you do. Yeah.
Panhandle is
the Panhandle.
It's like a different world.
It's like
from the rest of Florida.
Destin.
Yeah. Logan Allen last night.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're not a big fan of his.
No.
He throws to contact, but yesterday he was inaccurate. I think he had 4 walks. Was it 4 or 5 walks?
Yeah.
One strikeout.
When you're Logan Allen and you don't have elite stuff, you can't walk guys.
You can't miss. And even the outs they got, unlike the Guard, they were loud outs. Not all of them, but there was a lot of loud outs.
He had no command, and when we think of no command, you think, well, he walks too many guys, which he did in this case. Generally, he doesn't. He don't even look like a ball player, does he? I mean, he looks like a slappy, but
you're going too far.
He had no command, and that can mean you throw a lot of walks. It also means you're not. Even within the strike zone, you're not putting the ball where you want it. And when you're a guy like Logan Allen, who doesn't have the frontline stuff that Shane Bieber or Tanner Bybee or Gavin Williams have, you've got to be dead on. You see these pitchers who have lesser stuff. It's like a quarterback. All right, I'll explain it for football people. The better arm you have, the less accurate you have to be. Right, like. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes can get away with something more than Shedeur Sanders can because they've got stronger arms.
Are you calling Shedeur Sanders Logan Allen?
No.
Earl, get ready for the social clip. Earl is now calling Shedeur Sanders Logan Allen.
I'm not. I shouldn't even use them as an example because now people will turn it into that. But
you did it to yourself.
Here's the thing. No, because I'm not comparing them to. But there are pitchers who don't have elite stuff who become very good pitchers because they could command the ball. Greg Maddux, early in his career, obviously one of the greatest pitchers of all time, early in Greg Maddox's career, he threw super hard, right? And as his career went on, the second half of his career, he was not a particularly hard thrower.
No.
But he could put the ball wherever he wanted. No pitcher, there's never been a pitcher in my lifetime with better command than Greg Maddux. He walked barely anybody, and I guarantee you, 75% of the players he walked on purpose. Not intentional walks. He would walk guys just to set up another at-bat in the game or set up an at-bat for when he faced them in the playoffs. That's how ahead of everybody else he was. But when you're a pitcher like Logan Allen, who doesn't have frontline stuff, you have to have your command. And when you don't have great stuff and you don't have command, this is what happens.
So Shedeur Sanders, Tanner Bybee?
No, Shedeur Sanders is. I'm trying to think of a good pitcher
who didn't
have amazing stuff.
So now you're saying Bybee's
not good. No, Bybee's got better stuff
in
that way. I'm going to try to think of a comparison. Maybe Kyle Hendricks in his prime.
Of course, he would pick a Cub.
Yeah. He's not a Cub anymore.
In his prime, he was.
He was.
Tom Glavine?
Maybe. Glavine, I think, had better stuff than that. But I'm going to think of somebody else. Anywho, got to try to bounce back today, obviously. They're playing earlier today, right?
4:10, 4:01.
Yeah, that'd be
like
good.
That
Staying up till... I'm getting too old for this. Staying up till 1
o'clock.
o'clock.
Watch that.
4:10?
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to have practice at that time, but we will not be practicing with the field being soaking wet. So